Oh, like I said, remember I said how the Proud Boys do? Oh, check this out. Oh, Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio sentenced to jail. A judge sentenced Enrique Tarrio to 155 days for destroying a Black Lives Matter sign belonging to a historically black church and possessing a pair of high-capacity rifle magazines. And there he is right there. Don't jump the soap, Enrique. Hey, maybe fucking Deacons could get a jail cell with him when his fucking warrant fucking comes down by San Bernardino. Yeah. Could you imagine that shit? Fucking Doofus Deacons fucking with this guy? Anyway, let's get back to the story. That's for another video, another time with Dinkus. Anyways, the leader of the Proud Boys is going to jail. A judge in Washington, D.C. threw the book at Proud Boys chairman Enrique Tarrio on Monday afternoon and sentenced him to 155 days for destroying a Black Lives Matter sign belonging to a historically black church and possessing a pair of high-capacity rifle magazines during 2 separate trips to the nation's capital. The punishment, which adds up around 5 months, exceeded the 3 months the prosecutors originally asked for, but Judge Harold L. Crushenberry Jr. slammed to Tarrio, who had led Proud Boys since 2018, for what he characterized as a brazen disregard for the law and failure to express genuine remorse for his actions. Mr. Tarrio didn't care, Judge Crushenberry Jr. said. That's what I think. He could not have cared less about the laws of the District of Columbia. He cared about himself and self-promotion. Tarrio appeared clean-shaven, wearing a gray t-shirt via video, and ventured to say he was sorry for what he did on December 14th when hundreds of Proud Boys and hardcore supporters of the former President Donald Trump descended on D.C. to protest the results of the 2020 election. My attorney said I wasn't thinking clearly, and it goes beyond that. Tarrio said, that day I made a grave mistake, a very bad mistake. And Tarrio added, the church wasn't the only one that felt the consequences. I suffered financially, he said. My family business has been hit pretty hard. Monday's hearing also included devastating testimony read aloud by Reverend Dr. Lanther Mills on behalf of Ashbury United Methodist Church, in which she spelled out the material and physiological impacts of Tarrio's actions. This was the deliberate and planned, Mills said, who carries a bottle of lighter fluid to a peaceful demonstration. In our opinion, this was an act of imitation and racism. Ashbury Church, she explained, and it is incredibly symbolic to the black community and provided a safe haven for escaped slaves who were attempting to make their way to free states or Canada via the Underground Railroad. The church and its congressmen participated in the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Today, many of the church are direct descendants of individuals who traveled north to escape the terror and violence of groups like the Ku Klux Klan. So when Tarrio and other Proud Boys moderated around the streets of D.C. to face 2 black churches, including Ashbury, ripping down Black Lives Matter signs and setting them alight before posting videos of destruction on social media, their actions brought back painful memories, according to Mills. Now imagine the images conjure up in the imaginations of Ashbury congregates, Mills said. Visions of slavery, Ku Klux Klan, lynchings, and their public spectacles. The judge sentenced Tarrio to a total of 150 days for possessing the large weapons gun magazine with 25 days suspended, and to another 90 days for destruction of property with 60 days suspended. The 2 sentences are to be served consecutively for a total of sentence of 155 days with another 85 days suspended. Mr. Tarrio clearly and intentionally and proudly crossed the line of peaceful protest assembly to dangerous and potentially violent criminal conduct, Crushenberry Jr. said. While accepting responsibility for one's criminal conduct certainly bears weight, the court ultimately agreed that Mr. Tarrio has not credibly expressed genuine remorse. Tarrio is now required to self-surrender in 2 weeks, which the judge says could give him enough time to get his affairs in order. If he fails to show up, a bench warrant will be issued for his arrest and may have to serve the suspended portion of his sentence, the judge warned. Following his sentencing, Tarrio took to Telegram to share his thoughts. "Take it to the chin," he wrote. He followed up with a longer statement in which he described himself as a leading advocate for free speech and said he plans to hold a press conference later on Monday. "Free speech is protected under the United States Constitution," Tarrio said. "Sadly, with online censorship by big tech and in-person violent intimidation tactics from the Black Lives Matter and Antifa, many Americans have been robbed of their free speech rights. I will continue to do everything in my power to call out their hypocrisy and protect my fellow Americans from their depraved acts of violence." Tarrio said he had previously that he had plans to step down from his role as the group's leader next month and focus his efforts on local politics. His decision comes during some splintering within the far-right streets fighting gang due to equal part and intense scrutiny after many of his members were implicated on the January 6th Capitol riot, simmering disputes over optics, and a bombshell report of Rutgers that exposed Tarrio as a former federal informant. Woo! A leadership vacuum has also emerged within the Proud Boys since two other major figures within the group, Ethan Nordian and Joe Biggs, are facing conspiracy charges linked to January 6th, but the Proud Boys have retained extremely active on a local level this year. Uniformed members have been seen at anti-vax and anti-mask events across the country and appeared at school board meetings to protest critical race theory, which has become a cash-cow term used by the right to describe any program that involves the discussion of race or racism. Just this weekend, Proud Boys and other right-wingers were involved in brutal and bloody clash in Portland, Oregon, which resulted in gunfire. That's just crazy. Ha ha ha! Yep. Enrique's off to jail for the next 5 months. Holy shit, you can't make this shit up, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm out of here. My job. Peace out. Take care of yourself and your child. Much love and respect.